ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम। We are now studying the Brahma Sutras. We are studying the first sutra, the commentary by Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya. Now, we have seen what is the meaning of Atha. We have also seen the meaning of the word Ataha. Now we go to the third word. The third word in the first sutra, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, is Brahma Jigyasa. So what is Brahma Jigyasa? Shankaracharya says, Brahmano Jigyasa, Brahma Jigyasa. The desire to know Brahman is Brahma Jigyasa. So Brahmanaha of Brahman, the desire to know Brahman. Jigyasa. So the Jigyasa of Brahman is Brahma Jigyasa. The Jigyasa or the desire to know, when it is connected with Brahman, it is called Brahma Jigyasa. If somebody has a desire to know mathematics, then it will be Ganita Jigyasa. If somebody has a desire to know economics, Artha Shastra Jigyasa, and so on. So desire to know is Jigyasa. The desire to know what is the question. Then automatically that particular subject is given as the prefix and Jigyasa. So Brahma Jigyasa means Brahmanaha Jigyasa. That means desire to know connected with Brahman. Brahmacha Vakshyamana Lakshanam Janmadyasya Yataha iti. So what is Brahman? One may ask. Simple. Vakshyamana, that which is going to be described, that which is going to be told. It is going to be told in the next sutra. The second sutra is Janmadi Yasya Yataha. Janmadi Asya Yataha. Janmadyasya Yataha. That is the second sutra. So Lakshanam, the property of Brahma, is that it is Janmadyasya Yataha. That means it is that from which Janma Adi comes. Janma Adi. We will see in detail when we discuss that sutra, but now we can just see in brief what it means. So there are various dictionaries used to understand the meaning of words. In Sanskrita, there are two kinds of dictionaries which are used. One is the dictionary which is used for the Laukika Samskrita. That is the Samskrita which is used in common parlance, common usage. That is called Nighantu, as any dictionary is called Nighantu in Sanskrita. Then there are words which are used in Shruti or Vedas. So those words need not mean, or mostly do not mean the same meaning, do not mean the same thing, do not have the same meaning as they have in Laukika Samskrita, in the ordinary usage, common usage. So now how do you know what is the meaning of these Vedic words? For that, there is another lexicon or dictionary called Nirukta. Now, Nirukta has been compiled over and again, and the last compilation that we know of or we get is that by Yaska Muni. So Yaska Muni, he acknowledges the other acharyas or munis who were before him, and he quotes many of them. Yaska Muni talks about Shad Vikaraha. Shad Vikara means six. Shad means six. Vikaraha means modifications, changes. So he talks about six types of changes. 6 types of changes. And there he talks about these changes. Jayate, that is birth. It is born. Asti, it comes into existence. Vardhate, it grows. Viparinamate, it transforms. Various modifications take place. Apakshiyate, it decays. Nashyati, it dies. So anything that is born undergoes these 6 stages. So what does it mean? Born and comes into existence. So it could be also a stillbirth, the case of a stillborn child. That is why it is not sufficient if something is born, it should also be living. So jayate asti, that is also considered one stage. Then vardhate, it grows. Then viparinamate means there are changes in the body. There are different types of changes. The child slowly, different organs develop, etc. Then apakshiyate, then there is decaying. After 40, generally we start decaying. Some people start decaying even before that. Generally, after 40, we start decaying. Then nashyati. So we take a lot of time to decay and destroy ourselves, die. These are the 6 stages, 6 modifications that happen to whatever is born or whatever is created. And Janmadi Yasya, Janmadi Asya Yataha, from which the Asya means of this means of this universe. So the Janma Adi refers to all these 6 stages. Janma and other 5 stages. So Janma Adi Asya Yataha. Yataha means from which Asya of this Janma Adi happens. That is the second sutra of the Brahma Sutras. That means that principle, which is the source of all the universe, all the modifications, everything happening in this universe is because of that principle. It is because of the rope that you see the snake. So if there were no rope, there would have been no snake. It is because of Brahman that you see this universe. If there were no Brahman, you would have not perceived this universe. So it is the material and efficient cause, both the upadana, material cause, karana, and efficient nimitta cause, karana. Nimitta karana, upadana karana. That means the snake is made up of the material of rope because there is no actual snake there. Similarly, it is because of the snake, because of the rope that you see the snake. Snake is directly responsible for it to be produced. Like in the case of ghata, pot, all the philosophers, somehow they had fancy with 2 things. One is ghata, that is pot. In all philosophy, there will be one pot. And there will be one person called Devadatta. That is all Indian philosophies. These 2 things are they have a penchant for these 2 things. Like nowadays, if we have to say something, then we'll say, let us think it is X, call it X or A, something like that. Those times it was like, if a person is there, unknown person, let us take a person, then that person will immediately be called Devadatta. Interesting if you come to think of it. Devadatta means one who is given by the gods. So very good name. So Devadatta. Or it will be a pot. So Nyaya, the philosophy of logic, uses these 2 things quite often. is Devadatta. So the point is that what is Upadana Karana? For a pot, mud or clay is Upadana Karana. That is the matter by which pot is made. What is material cause or Nimitta Karana? Nimitta Karana is the potter or the potter's wheel, because that is how the mud is transformed into a pot. So the potter's wheel. But in the case of the universe, Brahman is both the material cause and efficient cause. Material cause and efficient cause. So efficient cause means what? Nimitta Karana is called efficient cause. It is both material cause and instrumental cause or efficient cause. Because there is no potter who actually makes universe out of Brahman. It is because of ignorance that you see universe in Brahman. You read universe in Brahman. It's a misreading, basically. It's an illusion. One may say, how can you call it illusion? All the people are seeing the same illusion. But still it is an illusion. So there are two levels. One is the individual illusion level, and then there is the cosmic illusion level. But anyway, it is an illusion. All scriptures agree on that it is an illusion. And some people have illusions within illusions. Even otherwise, it's an illusion. Some people think, you see, without me, nothing can run. That is another illusion. People have illusions within illusions within illusions. It goes on. It's a web of illusions. So material cause and efficient or instrumental cause. Both are Brahman. So all the changes which happen in this world can be attributed, or this whole universe can be attributed to that one principle called Brahman. And that is why here Shankaracharya says the word Brahma here means that principle from which all of this birth and so on takes place. Birth and so on of this universe, Asya, of this universe takes place. And that will be Vakshyamana, that will be explained in the next sutra. Atayeva, therefore, na Brahma Shabdasya Jati Adi Arthantaram Ashankitavyam. Ashankitavyam has to be imagined. Na, it should not be. Ashankitavyam means should be imagined. Na means it should not be. Na Ashankitavyam. It should not be imagined. What should not be imagined? Brahma Shabdasya, of the word Brahma, Jati Adi Arthantaram. Different. Arthantaram means different meaning. Different meaning like Jati, etc., caste, etc., Jati Adi, caste, etc., should not be imagined. The word Brahma or Brahman cannot have the meaning, any meaning other than it being the source of the entire universe, it being the cause of the entire universe. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said, Yato va imani bhutani jayante. So, from which all these living beings come. And afterwards, when they die, they go back to that. So, it's the source, basically. Source of the entire universe. That is the only meaning which can be attributed to the word Brahman or Brahma. There can be no other meaning. It does not mean caste, Brahmana, etc. It does not mean that. That is what it cannot be. It cannot be, that meaning cannot be assigned or attributed to this word. So, then further he explains it. He says, Brahmana iti karmani shashti na sheshe jigyasya apekshatvat jigyasayaha jigyasya antara anirdeshacha. Brahmana iti, the word Brahma, Brahmana, the word Brahmana, Brahmanaha jigyasa, Brahma jigyasa. So what is Brahma jigyasa? It is the desire to know Brahman. So the desire to know of what? The desire to know of Brahman. So desire to know Brahman. That is Brahmana Jigyasa, Brahma Jigyasa. This Brahmana, the word Brahmana, when we say Brahmana, it comes in the sixth case ending, Karmani. Karmani, in the sense of an object. It is in the sense of an object, Karmani. Shashti. Shashti means sixth case. Na Sheshe. So Brahmana is in the meaning of object. Subject, object, object. It is in the meaning of object. And it is not in the meaning of Sheshe. Sheshe means that which is remaining. That which is remaining. Residual. That which is remaining. So in Panini, Shashti Vibhakti. So we have Vibhaktis in Samskrita, as we know. Panini says Shashti Sheshe. So Sambandha Samanya Shashti. That means there is a relation. The relation between one and the other. And so in that sense, the sixth case ending, sixth Vibhakti, Shashti Vibhakti is used. So Shashti Sheshe. That means it's a relation between some things which are remaining. So in English, you can translate it as residual relation, which explains nothing basically. So what we can understand, because all of us know Indian languages, between two things, there is a relation, sambandha. That sambandha word itself is there in all languages. So the relation is specified by sixth case ending. That means sixth vibhakti. Vibhakti word is also there in most Indian languages. So vibhakti means sixth case ending. Shashti, that sambandha, relation is specified. But here, this Brahmanaha, which is in Shashti, which is in Shashti Vibhakti, sixth Vibhakti, does not mean in the sense of that relation, but it means in the sense of object. Here the sense is object. Why? Because it's simple. We have already seen it. Brahma Jigyasa. When I say Brahma Jigyasa, it is clear. If I say Jigyasa, either it has to be the name of somebody. I know, very bad joke. But name of somebody, or it should be the desire to know something. Now, if it is not the name of somebody, then it is desire to know something. If it is the desire to know something, then the question arises, desire to know what? Automatically, Jigyasa has to have an object. An object has to be supplied to this word Jigyasa. Otherwise, it is meaningless. Jigyasa, if you say, then to know what? So, for example, in English, if I say I want what? If you don't fill that, if you don't supply that, I want that object, whatever object you want, that if you don't supply, it is a meaningless expression. I want. Similarly, Jigyasa in itself has no meaning. You have to supply. So when somebody says Jigyasa, there is an apeksha, there is an expectation. There is an expectation. There is an expectation that what do you want? So Jigyasasya apekshatvat jigyasayaha. Jigyasayaha jigyasya apekshatvat. Because apekshatvat means because there is a need or there is an expectation of jigyasya, knowable. Jigyasayaha, of the desire to know, there is an expectation of the knowable. What is it you want to know? So the moment you say Jigyasa, immediately there is an expectation. The listener is listening. Okay, Jigyasa, what? What do you want to know? So Jigyasya. Jigyasa means the knowable. That you have to, what you want to know is called Jigyasya. Jigyasa is the desire to know. So if when you say Jigyasa, automatically there is an apeksha, an expectation, a need to know what is the Jigyasya. What is that thing which you want to know? So immediately when you say I want, immediately there is, people are going to, if suppose a child is asking parents, I want, already the parent is annoyed. even before knowing what is wanted. Why? Because something will be expected now, some money will be spent, etc. That is why. But still, the parent is curious to know what is it that you want. So when somebody says, I want, immediately the question will be, what do you want? So what is wanted? I want dash, the dash will be that which is wanted. So I want this. Similarly, I want to know, I desire to know. What do you desire to know? So the thing that has to be known will come in the dash. So jigyasa, automatically there is an expectation that, yes, tell me, what do you want to know? And so it is object. That is why here Brahmanaha cannot be taken in the meaning of relation, but it can be taken only in the meaning of object. Here it is the object of the desire to know. And jigyasya antara anirdeshacha. Also, if suppose it was not Brahma jigyasa, it was say something else also. It was say Brahma and then also Mimamsa jigyasa. There were some other words also there, suppose. Then we could choose. Then there would have been antara. Antara means something else, something other. Jigyasya. So jigyasya antara would have been there. Suppose somebody says, I want an ice cream. So now I want an ice cream. Ice cream is a very general statement. It could be strawberry, it could be vanilla, it could be so many things. The flavor is not mentioned here. So if this person goes to an ice cream parlor or an ice cream shop and says, I want ice cream, it means nothing basically. Because you are in ice cream shop. There everything is ice cream. What flavor do you want? So then the question, I want ice cream is not enough taken in the context of an ice cream shop. But I want ice cream is general enough so that if a person says, I want ice cream, suddenly somebody comes and gives vanilla, which is the cheapest and the most commonly available. So this person will look at that vanilla ice cream and has to eat it now because has not properly conveyed what that person wants. So there is an alternative there. But here, Brahma Jigyasa, it's quite clear and very specific. There is no alternative. If there were some other words, then Jigyasya Antara would have been there. Means there would have been some other thing which is to be known. But because there is no such thing in this statement, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, there is only Brahma Jigyasa because there is no other thing has been said which is knowable or to be known. Jigyasya Antara Anirdeshacha. Another thing has not been, Nirdesha means here stated. It has not been stated because no other thing has been stated here. So that is why Brahmanaha has to be taken in the meaning of object and not in the meaning of relations. And now we get our objection. What is the objection or argument? Nanu, no, that cannot be so. Or but Shesha Shashti Parigrahe api Brahmano Jigyasa Karmatvam na virudhyate Sambandha Samanyasya Vishesha Nishtatvad. So here, see, the time pass or the pastime of scholars is to create confusion. Then they are very happy. If it is very simple, then what is the point? What use is of what is the use of scholarship? So it should be very complicated. So here the objection is something like that. But having said that, this objection quite probably comes from the Mimamsakas. Because for the Mimamsakas, it is very important how you derive meaning from a sentence. Because that is how you understand what the Vedas want you to do. To understand the instruction given by a Vedic sentence, you should understand properly the grammatical part of that particular Vedic sentence. Otherwise, you might be misunderstanding that sentence. So if you have to properly understand, then you have to also properly understand the grammar. And so here, Brahmanaha because Panini talks about it in the sense of Sambandha, the objection is Shesha Shashti Parigrahe api. Even if you take the sixth case, Shashti Vibhakti, in the sense of Shesha, that means in the sense of residual relationship, even then, Brahmanaha Jigyasa Karmatvam na virudhyate. Na virudhyate, it does not contradict. What? Brahmanaha, of Brahman, Jigyasa Karmanatvam, of Brahman being the object of the desire to know. So Brahman being the object of desire to know is not contradicted, is not made otherwise, even if you consider this Brahmanaha in the sense of Sambandha, means Shesha Sambandha, means in a residuary sense of relationship. How? Because Sambandha Samanyasya Vishesha Nishtatvat. Because here the relationship is Samanya relationship, is based on Vishesha relationship, Vishesha Nishtatvat. So even though we are talking about a general relationship in Shashti Vibhakti, all Shashti Vibhakti, they talk about general relationship. But here in the case of this Brahma Jigyasa, it is Vishesha Nishtha. It is based on a particular relationship. A particular relationship. So here we have to understand that this seemingly innocent objection is not so innocent after all. Why? Because we will understand that here the Purva Paksha or the opponent party is not bothered about whether Brahman is the object of the desire to know. But it wants to establish, the opponent party wants to establish that there can be other kinds of inquiry also. Brahma Jigyasa, the desire to know Brahman, when we say that the object, if we take Brahman in the sense of object, then there cannot be any other inquiry. It will be only inquiry of Brahman because that is the object. Finished. But if we take it in the sense of general or to specific relationship, as the Purva Paksha says, then what happens? This general specific, it can mean many things. It need not be only restricted to Brahman. So the Purva Paksha can say that you see Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Here there is a connection between Brahman and Jigyasa. There is a connection between Brahman and Jigyasa. So that connection is a special connection. But before that special connection comes, there should be a general connection also. What is the general connection? The desire to know. So the general connection can be also for Dharma Jigyasa. The general connection can also be for knowing what is Dharma. So why can't we say that it is a general desire to know, which here has been expressed as the desire to know Brahman? Why can't we say like that? What is the harm? So there can be no harm in that only if we accept that Brahmanaha is being used in the sense of Shesha Sambandha. It is being used in the sense of relation, a specific relation. So otherwise, if we are saying that Brahmanahi is used only in the sense of object, then Jigyasa cannot have any other meaning. A person says, I want to drink water. Now, what is the option you have? You have only option is whether you want cold water, hot water, ice cold water or mineral water, like that. You have only, and mineral water also, whether you are NRI mineral water you want or ordinary Indian mineral water you want, whatever mineral water you want. So that is the only option you have, but it is water nonetheless. In all cases, it is water. Now somebody is saying, I want to drink water. You can first offer water and then you can say, would you also like to have tea? But if you say, okay, you want to drink water, you have tea. That doesn't make sense because that person is very clear. I want to drink water. That person is thirsty, wants water. So after water may have soft drink or many other kinds of drinks, also tea, coffee, so many things. But now that person wants water. Similarly, Brahma Jigyasa. So the object of the desire, drink, is water. The object of the verb drink is here water. What do I want to drink? I want to drink water. So want to drink, the desire, the object of that is water. Similarly, I want to know. What do I want to know? Brahma. So if we take the grammatical meaning to be object, Brahman as object, then it is there is no argument. There is no scope for argument. And that is what the Purva Paksha does not want. So that is why they are saying, oh, why are you only specifying like this? Even if you take it in the meaning of Shashti as Shesha Sambandha, then also it is all right. Then also there is this desire to know Brahman. So there is no problem. Like that, they are saying. It is like intelligent lawyers. They will first go to a person and they will, when they are countering, when they are asking questions, a person has come, a witness has come, they are asking questions. They will go very innocuously, oh, like that, is it so, etc. Then they are leading that particular witness to a trap. And finally, that fellow blurts out so many things and then understands that that person has been put into a trap. So similar is the case here with the opponent party. Opponent party is saying, why Shesha Shashti Parigrahe api Brahmanaha Jigyasa Karmatvam na Virudhyate. So even if you take the meaning of Brahmanaha in the sense of residual, Shashti in the sense of Shashti Vibhakti in the sense of residual relationship, even then this meaning like Jigyasa will have the object of Brahman. Means Jigyasa will be of Brahman. Why? Because even though it is a general relationship, but there is a special connection here. So if that is told, then there will be like, oh, then you can also, as I told you, then you can also know Brahman, you can also know Dharma, you can also know so many other things. And so now how Shankaracharya is going to counter this? That is the question. So Shankaracharya says, Evam api pratyaksham brahmanah karmatvam utsrujya samanya dwarena paroksham karmatvam kalpayato vyarthaha prayasaha syat. As I never get tired of telling this, Shankaracharya's language is so simple. He tells profound thoughts in such a simple language. He says, Evam api, even then, or let it be so. Okay, you are saying that, I understand, it is a very good suggestion you are giving. Even then, pratyaksham brahmanah karmatvam utsrujya. Utsrujya, giving up or rejecting. Pratyaksham, direct, brahmanah karmatvam. Karmatvam means in sentence, Brahman being object, subject, object. So of Brahman being karma, directly it is there. Instead of accepting that, what is the point in giving up that, rejecting that direct Brahman? Directly it is object. Brahman is directly, very openly, it is the object. But instead of taking it as an object, what is the point in rejecting it? What is the point in rejecting it? That is the question. Why are you wanting to reject it? Object, it is there already. Why do you want to reject it? And you want to go indirectly and say that Brahman is Shesha Shashti. The sixth Vibhakti is in the sense of residual relationship. And then also we can take Brahman as the object of jigyasa. Why it go so roundabout way? Instead of holding the nose directly, why are you going like that roundabout? Not necessary. Pratyaksham Brahma jigyasa karmatvam. If directly it is the object of jigyasa, the verb jigyasa, desire to know. So the desire to know is there, object is Brahman. It is so clear. Why are you wanting to samanya dwarena? Through the means, dwara means here means of samanya. Samanya means general relationship. So through the means of general relationship, paroksham karmatvam kalpayatah. Kalpayatah, why are you postulating or positing? Why are you bringing this idea of paroksha karmatvam? Indirect object. Indirect idea of object. When directly pratyaksham it is object, why do you want to make it indirectly it is object? Why do you want to do that? And that is vyartha prayasa syat. It is a vyartha, vain prayasa, effort. That is a vain effort. It is not necessary. Directly, very clearly, the statement is Brahma jigyasa. Let it be so. Let it be so. So immediately the other person also is not leaving. That person is saying, no, na vyartha. No, it is not in vain. It is not useless. That going indirectly and using the general relationship method to establish that here it is jigyasa relates to Brahman, that is not in vain. Why? Brahma ashritya ashesha vichara pratigyana arthatvad iti chet. If we say Brahma ashrita ashesha vichara pratigyana arthatvat. Pratigyana. Pratigyana means to bring or include. What is the thing? Brahma ashrita ashesha vichara. All the vichara, all the inquiries which are dependent on the inquiry of Brahman. So inquiry into all matters related to Brahman. That can be also included in this. Iti chet, if one argues like that. So it is not that it is in vain. See, it is not vain. It is not vain, but it is like, you see, you cannot understand Brahman if you don't understand Vedas. How will you understand Veda if you don't understand Vyakarana? If you don't understand Chandas, how will you understand Veda? If you don't understand Nirukta, how will you understand Veda? So all that Vedanga also you have to understand. Kalpa you have to understand, Jyotish you have to understand. So there are so many things you have to understand Veda. So it is not that we don't want to say that no, Brahma Jigyasa is not the desire to know Brahman. That is what Shankaracharya, you are mistaken. That is your wrong idea. We are not so much against you. We are saying that, you see, there are so many other things also you should know. Is it not? Before knowing Brahman, there are so many other things also you should know. So if you say that it is through this way, if you go, Samana Dwarena, that means through general relationship, then it is not only restricted to Brahman. Then Brahma Jigyasa means it is also Jigyasa of Jyotisha, it is also Jigyasa of Kalpa, Nirukta, all these things will come in. So Brahma Ashrita Ashesha Vichara. Ashesha means there are countless. There are so many things. Ashesha means unlimited. Vichara, inquiries are there. All that Pratigyana Arthatvat. Because of bringing in all that, we are saying this iti chet, if one argues like that. So here what has happened? Shankaracharya's tactic has worked. Because now Purva Paksha has now openly told that, you see, it is to bring other things also inside. Otherwise, it was not very clear why Purva Paksha is saying, no, it has to be, even if you take in the sense of Shashti, in the sense of Shesha Sambandha, even that this meaning will come. Why it was saying suddenly Purva Paksha? Because now it is clear. Brahma Ashritani, all that Brahma, what is related to Brahma, that will come. All Brahman, everything will come. That is actually, that is the idea, to bring Brahma Ashritani. Ratna Prabha, there is a commentary called Ratna Prabha by Govindananda. There he says, Brahma ashritani, that which is dependent on Brahman. Lakshana pramana yukti jnana sadhana phalani. So which is Lakshana pramana yukti jnana sadhana phalani. The means there are Lakshana, the device of what is there in a particular place. That is like we have fire is there. Yatra yatra dhumaha tatra tatra vahni. So if fire is there, there will be smoke. So this is Anumana Pramana. So like that, there is some kind of a Lakshana, indication. Pramana. Pramana means all these 6 Pramanas, the methods of means of knowledge. Then Yukti. Yukti means rational, logic, reason, Jnana. All these things are put together and their fruits, all those results of them, all those will be brought into consideration. Everything will be studied properly in detail. That is what we want. Like that, here it is told by the opponent. So, for that, Shankaracharya says, no, that cannot be. Because you are saying Brahma Ashrita, means whatever is connected to or whatever will be helpful in knowing Brahman or in fulfilling the desire to know Brahman, and that Asesha Vichara, so many things which are connected to Brahman, that cannot be so. Why? Pradhana parigrahe tad apekshitanam api artha akshiptatvat. So when I say, I want to drink water, so a person will ask, oh, you want to drink water? So shall I bring water in a tumbler or a glass or something? Or will I just pour and you will drink water? So that question is a meaningless question. When I say I want to drink water, it means that you bring it in some vessel with which I can drink it conveniently. That is understood. I don't need to separately say this thing. So that water I have to drink means it has to be provided to me in a form by which I can easily drink. That is understood. Or if I say I want to drink tea, then you say, oh, so do you want me to prepare tea? Are you prepare tea or buy tea or do whatever? I want to drink tea. So the idea how you have to arrange that is all understood in that. I want to have tea. So maximum you can ask how much sugar or whether with milk or without milk. That is the question you can ask. But I want tea. So now you have to arrange that in a manner that I will be able to drink tea. Similarly, pradhana parigrahe, when the principle, pradhana, principal aim, main aim, parigrahe has been understood, it has been accepted, then tad apekshitanam, whatever is required by that principal aim, tat apekshitanam, whatever is required by that principal aim, api artha akshiptatvat, that is also immediately is meant by implication. So if somebody has to say eat idli, then automatically it means that you will provide chutney and sambar with that. One does not have to go and say that, oh, what idli? Oh, idli, so you also give chutney sambar means what? If chutney sambar go with idli. So like that, pradhana parigrahe, when you are accepting something which is main or principle, along with that, whatever is required for that, tad apekshitanam, whatever is required, that also api artha akshiptatvat, that is also understood by implication. Understood by implication. Let us start the car. Oh, there is no fuel in the car. Should I fill the fuel tank? Means what? Without fuel, how will you start the car? What kind of foolish question is this? So that goes without saying, it is implied. So here also, Brahmahi jnanena aptum ishtatamatvat pradhanam. This here, what is main? Brahmahi, indeed. He means indeed. Brahman, indeed, jnanena, by the means of knowledge, aptum ishtatamatvat. Aptum, to attain. Ishtatamatvat. Ishtatama means the most desired. The most desired. Brahman is the most desired. Though we might not think so, going by what people desire nowadays, but still it is what Shankaracharya says. Brahman is the most desired. Because it is Ishtatamatvat, because of it being most desired, Brahman is Pradhanam. The idea is, if you take Vedic rituals and Brahman, which will be desired most? Obviously, Brahman will be desired most. Because Vedic rituals cannot give you Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti. It cannot give you a complete cessation of suffering, which Brahman can give. Knowledge of Brahman can give. So, Jnanena Aptum, by knowledge, to attain by knowledge, this is the most desired thing. Ishtatamatvat, because of its being the most desired thing, Pradhanam, it becomes main. Otherwise, it is like two children, they went to a restaurant. They had long ago a story. So they had one 10 paisa something they had long ago when 10 paisas were all in vogue at that time. So they went to a restaurant and they had to somehow spend this 10 paisa. So they asked the restaurant person, okay, I've got 10 paisa. So what do you have? So he said, like all restaurants, they say idli, dosa, vada, all that he said. And then the two boys, they thought, oh, how much is dosa? So dosa is 50 paisa. 50 paisa, what can be done? Then, okay, then how much is one plate idli? How many idlis will be there in one plate? 2 idlis will be there. How much? They say that is also 60 paisa. 60 paisa, what can be done? So then, okay. So what will you give with dosa and idli like that? And sambar and chutney we will give. How much does that cost? No, that is free. If you buy dosa idli, we'll give free. Then you do one thing. One plate sambar you give and one plate you chutney also you give, like that. So here what has happened, here that which was not pradhana, that which was not main has been made main. So people don't go to a restaurant to drink sambar or eat chutney. They go to eat idli or dosa. Along with that, they take sambar and chutney, and also maybe in Google review, etc., Zomato review, they may say the chutney was not good, it was sour, it had gone bad, etc. They may say. But that is not the main purpose. The main purpose is to eat dosa or idli. Similarly, Ishtatamatvat, here what is most desired? Here Brahman is most desired. All other things may be helpful in knowing Brahman, in fulfilling the desire to know Brahman. But they are not the main. They are like idli and chutney. They are like chutney and sambar. They are not the main. Main is what? That's why they are called Vyanjana. They are not main. They are subsidiary. Main is the main meal. So idli and dosa is main. So that is why here, that is pradhanam. Brahman is pradhanam. Tasmin pradhane jigyasa karmani parigrihete yaihi jigyasitaihi vina brahma jigyasitam na bhavati tani artha akshiptani eva itina prathak sutraitavyani. Simple. Tasmin pradhane. So then Brahman being, when Brahman, that Brahman becomes principle, becomes main, then jigyasa karmani parigrihite. When it becomes main, then it becomes the object of the verb jigyasa. It automatically becomes the object of the verb jigyasa. So when I go to a restaurant, I say, give me one plate of idli. Automatically, the main focus becomes idli. Object of my order is idli. So, yahi jigyasitaihi vina brahma jigyasitam na bhavati. Without knowing which, or without having the desire to know which, the desire to know Brahman cannot be possible. Tani artha akshiptani eva. Their meaning is implicated there, implied there, indeed implied there. So when I say I want a plate of idli, whatever is necessary, or without having something that, without having which I cannot eat a plate of idli, it is implied that that also should be given. I don't need to say, I want a plate of idli and you please give sambar, chutney, etc. If some person, some restaurant does not serve automatically, then we don't go to that restaurant. Say, what kind of foolish restaurant? Why? Because that artha akshiptavyani, akshiptani, that artha is already implied there. Akshiptani eva. It is indeed implied. So if Brahman has to be the main object of the desire to know, then automatically yahi jigyasitaihi vina brahma jigyasitam na bhavati. Without knowing which, or without having the desire to know which, the desire to know Brahman does not take place. Tani artha akshiptani eva. That has to be definitely be known, and that meaning is automatically implied. Indeed, it is implied. Iti. So, na prathak sutrayitavyani. That need not be separately mentioned in the sutra. That need not be na prathak. Na prathak means separately. Na prathak. Na, it need not be separately mentioned in the sutra. Yatha, as Raja asau gacchati iti yukte. When it is told iti yukte, like this, when it is ukte, told, what is told? Raja asau gacchati. So asau Raja, that king, gacchati, is going out. So when that is told, automatically sa parivarasya rajño gamanam uktam bhavati. So automatically it is uktam, it is only logical, it is understood. Uktam means it is understood to have been uktam, to have been said. It is understood to have been said. What? Sa parivarasya rajño gamanam. It has been understood to have been said that the Raja goes with all his retinue, with his entire retinue, sa parivara, with his retinue, with the whole fanfare, the whole caravan is going, everybody is going with him. So when it is told the chief minister is going, automatically it's understood that there is a security, there are so many cars going before the chief minister's car, after the car. Also, it is understood that the traffic will be stopped for some time, etc. A cavalcade will be going. That is understood. Cavalcade will be going. Why? Because the chief minister is going. So chief minister will not go just like any other person in Tata Nano. They will not go. The chief minister has got a better car, and there will be some cars in front and after, and so many fanfare will be there. Similarly, Asau Raja Gacchati, when that is told, when it is told that this Raja is going, that means that Raja will go with all the fanfare, with the entire retinue. Similarly, like that, when it is told Brahma Jigyasa, it automatically means that whatever is necessary to be known in order to have the desire to know Brahman would be known. So why are you trying to separately tell that? It is not necessary. It is not necessary. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Are there any questions? No questions. Hello? Are there any questions?
Swamiji, there is one question in the chat box.
Yeah, are there any other questions?
Swamiji Pranam, my name is Ramya. I have a question. I'm basically, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Swamiji, so when you explained that basically Shankaracharya is saying that whatever else is required to be known in order to have Brahma Jignasa, that is automatically included. So basically he is referring to maybe sadhana chatushtaya, or is there anything else?
When he was explaining Atha, he already told that it means after having something. So that after is sadhana chatushtaya. Shankaracharya does not want to include the knowledge of any other discipline as such. So that is why when it was told that it might be after the desire to know Brahman, Shankaracharya said, no, not necessary, because if a person has studied Vedanta, even before having the desire to know Brahman, that person may have the desire to know, even before having the desire to know Dharma, that person may have the desire to know Brahman. So the opponent party said that no, it might be Dharma Jigyasa, might be first. So Shankaracharya said, not necessary. Even before knowing Dharma, you might have the desire to know Brahman. So Shankaracharya does not want to include the desire to know other disciplines or other philosophies. But he says that Atha means you are having sadhana chatushtaya. Sadhana chatushtaya. Now here, because there is an objection like this from Purva Paksha, Shankaracharya is clearing it out. He is saying that if at all there is something necessary to be known for having the desire to know Brahman, that is implied. But he himself is of the opinion that only sadhana chatushtaya is sufficient. We don't need to know anything else.
Okay, I got that. Thank you, Swamiji.
Any other question? So there is this question, is Brahman knowable? So Brahman is of course knowable. Only thing is, it is not known through the usual means of knowledge. So there are 6 means of knowledge. None of these 6 means can help you know Brahman. And all knowledge is known. So there is what is called as a triad or triputi of knowing or knowledge. So triputi bheda, there is a triad of 3 things. Triad of knowledge. So triad means 3 things. Triad of knowledge. What are they? The known, the knower, and the means of knowledge. So that which is known, the knower, and the means of knowledge. That is the triad. Brahman is not known like that. Also, Brahman is not known through sense organs. It is aparoksha jnana. Of course, it is a knowledge. It is jnana. Nobody denies that. That's why it's called Brahma jnana. It is knowledge, but it is not knowledge in the sense of other empirical or sensory knowledge. So it is not paroksha jnana. Paroksha jnana means that which is para aksha, means which is got by external sense organs. It is also not got through mind. So it is aparoksha jnana. That means it is got through, it is got without the medium of sense organs or the mind. So it is called immediate knowledge. Means there is no mediate. There is no medium. So that kind of knowledge. And so Brahman is of course knowable, but it is knowable in a very, very closer sense of the term. That is why when Sri Ramakrishna was asked by Narendranath Datta, have you seen God? Sri Ramakrishna immediately said, yes, I have seen God, but I can see now also, but I can see God more clearly than I see you. Because the seeing or the perception of God is not through senses. It is when you transcend the senses. So then it does not have any medium. It is without any medium. And so it is more sure or more confirmed knowledge. It is a more definitive knowledge. Knowledge of God or knowledge of Brahman is more definitive than any other knowledge. And so, of course, Brahman is knowable, but it is not in the sense that you know physics, chemistry, or mathematics. It is not in the sense that you know the taste of a food item, but it is in a different manner where you have nothing between the knower of Brahman and Brahman. So that's why it's also said, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. You become that to know that. So if you know that, you become that. Is there any other question? No question. Okay.
Swamiji, I had one question, Kanchan here. It is not a question per se, little confusion between the subject and the object. If we say that mind or sense perception or everything, these are the objects through which we perceive knowledge. So there is a little confusion between them. But we say that
no, wait a minute. Sorry, I'm interrupting. What do you say? Mind is not an object. How does mind become an object?
Because mind perceives. If we take, for example...
So it's a means of perception. It's not object. Object is what you perceive. Mind is the means of perception. It is through which you perceive. But you don't perceive mind. You perceive the object. So object is sense object, that which you perceive. Object is that which is perceived as object. Mind is the medium through which you perceive. So how can we call mind the object? Mind is not the object.
Okay.
Any questions are there? Smriti, do you have any questions?
No, Swamiji, not today.
Shubhadeep?
No, Maharaj.
Swamiji, this is Niranjan here, Swamiji.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't have the question, but after hearing the answer for the other question, I got a question, Swamiji.
Now I have a thing to share here. I don't know how it happened, but see, this Brahma Sutra class, Brahman himself has come to attend, himself or herself or itself, I don't know. There is a person called Brahman. Is Brahman attending the class? What is it? This is Smriti. Brahman is attending class on Brahma Sutra.
Yes, Swamiji.
Who is this Brahman? Now Brahman will not unmute. Embarrassing situation. Brahman? How do you address Brahman? Can you hear? It is so funny. I'm asking Brahman, can you hear me? Yato vacho nivartante. Aprapya manasa saha. So obviously Brahman cannot hear me. Okay. So we have a live demonstration how words don't reach Brahman. Smriti, what better demonstration?
Yes, Swamiji.
Words are not reaching Brahman. Okay, so because there are no other questions, we will call it a night today. And
sorry, Swamiji.
Yes.
This Niranjan here, Swamiji. I got a question after hearing the answer for the other question, Swamiji, regarding the mind. In Drigdrishya Viveka, Swamiji, in the third level, the mind is an object to the consciousness. That's the way how I understood, Swamiji.
No, but that is not the level of, that is not what she was referring to. That's a different thing. What you're saying is a different thing.
Okay, fine, Swamiji. But
because
Swamiji there in the
normally know things. When we normally know things in the empirical world, we use mind as the means to know. Mind is one of the sense organs, you can say, sixth sense. So we use it as a mean to know. So mind is not the object there. Only when you go to the level of Turiya, even then mind dissolves. So it is at that level that consciousness sees mind as an object and all that, which is talked of in Drisha Viveka. It is at that level. But usually when we do Laukika Vyapara, when we are dealing with sense objects, etc., their mind is not the object. That is what I meant. But
Sure.
this mystery who Brahman is, we could not solve anyway. So I'm really sorry. Yesterday, suddenly the internet went off. It seems because for the last 1.5 years or so much of what you call pressure on the bandwidth. All the network providers are upgrading their infrastructure. So there have been some network connectivity issues. So that's why yesterday I could not do Paduka Sahasram. Okay. Shubharatri. Namaste.